Very hard. Mom.
Blythe, it is nice to see you again. I don't know, fourth or fifth time. We keep meeting all over the country, but never before in South Carolina, of course. I must tell you that I think you do a wonderful job of portraying a Southern woman, and we're talking about a Southern woman in the 1960s. And I know that you're a Northerner. You're from Philadelphia, aren't you?
Yes, born and raised in Philadelphia. People keep saying that to me. I think it's, I don't know what it is. I guess I've played 3 Southerners now, 3 or 4. And I'm fascinated with the graciousness of those ladies. You know, when I first arrived in Beaufort, it was a culture shock. I said, are these people really genuine? Is this the way it is? And it was absolutely genuine. I've never met such warm people. And the graciousness, I guess, reminds me of another era, which I've always felt I've been born in the wrong time anyway. I always really wanted to live in another bygone day. So I think maybe there's something that, you know, in those ladies that has something I identify with or long for or whatever. I mean, it has nothing to do with an unliberated society, because I think, for instance, Lillian Meechan, who I play in The Great Santini, is a very soft woman. And I know the actual lady I'm playing, whose name is Peggy Conroy. She's a genteel, lovely Southern woman, but you can tell she's great strength underneath. You know, she's a Marine wife who had to raise a family, take over when her husband was gone, and totally raised teenage children. They had quite a few. I've forgotten. I mean, 4 or 5 in the family, or was it 6? Forgotten. But anyway, I think you know, it's not all sugar and spice. There's just a great graciousness that's always fascinated me, and maybe I'm certainly drawn to this place, to Beaufort. I had the best experience here I'd ever had on a location, in the town with the people.
Do you think the Conroys will like the film, or do they like the film?
I have heard that they like the film. I have not yet spoken to them, but I hope they will. I think it's very hard when you've lived a whole life and you've filled out, you know, you are the character, and all of a sudden you see somebody up on screen in a 2-hour period trying to make it real and fill your shoes. I mean, how can you possibly do that? I can't imagine anybody being totally delighted with someone portraying their life. I mean, I'm sure it's been done, but I hope Peggy's happy. I mean, this story basically is the son and the father. And the mother is supportive, certainly, of the son, and very loving. But she's not fleshed out, certainly, as much as Peggy is, a living, breathing, incredible woman. So, you know.
Blythe, do you think you personally could be married or could have stayed married to a man like Bull Meacham?
Well, you know, Peggy didn't. They divorced. I don't know. Probably not. I'm very strong-willed. My husband is very strong-willed. We have a wonderful marriage. And I don't think that I could live with that kind of cruelty. But, you know, love is, if you have an incredibly deep love, I guess you would do everything in the world to make it work, to keep the family together. You know, she's a family woman. Her family comes first. She's had no desires for career or anything. Her career was her family and making them strong and good people. And I think she lasted a very long time. In her marriage, she practically raised them all before she divorced.
You went to drama school with Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, right?
No, not drama school. My first experience in repertory was at the Theater Company of Boston. And I went up to see a show, and in it was Bob Duvall, who I'm in the film with, which is the primary reason I did this film. I couldn't wait to work with an actor who I think is one of our very top actors in the United States. Dustin Hoffman, Bob Duvall, John Voight was in another production. This was a funny little stage in the Bostonian hotel. It was really rough. You know, we did a play a week, and it was a great working experience. And I first saw these brilliant actors on this little stage.
Were they really good, even that far back?
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. I think, you know, the seeds have to be there pretty early, don't you? I mean, it's a lot of it's training, but a lot of it has to be instinct and what you bring to it as a person too. And Bobbie is probably the most concentrated actor I've ever worked with. He is your role, and he's in the heat of the pan. I mean, you can't catch your breath. You've got to be ready. And he's off. He's just off and running, and he's incredible. Learned a lot working with him.
In the scene where he physically attacks you and the whole family gets involved in this sort of brawl in the kitchen, was that a difficult scene to bring off? Did you all have many discussions about it? And
well, we rehearsed it a lot, and it was frustrating because we knew that once it was really going and our emotions, and we were doing it full out, that it would change, and it did. It was terrifying. He is a bull, and Bobbie, as he plays him, is such a brutal force in that scene. It was extraordinary. We did it several times. I think the best time we did it was the first time, and I think that's the one they used. It's been a while now, so I can't quite remember which one. It seemed to me to be even more violent somehow when we did it, but it was quite an experience.
Did Robert Duvall have any hesitation about a scene where he's, going to attack a woman? Because right away, a lot of people are going to say, "How could he?" And it's going to be a total turnoff for a lot of people.
He becomes the character so fully, and he simply plays what he needs to play. I mean, he's cognizant of what technically is going on, of course. I mean, but he's absolutely there.
And what was going on in your head? I don't mean the character's head.
Your terror. It was really something.
And the children involved in the scene?
And the children all came in. I mean, I think we were all very in the scene. There wasn't much acting going on, I'll say, at that moment.
Well, Blythe, when will I see you again? What's the next picture?
Well, I'm actually, I don't even know what's going to happen. I have to make a decision this week. I'm either going to do the Harold Pinter play, the new Harold Pinter play on Broadway, beginning next month, or Shadowbox, that's being directed by Paul Newman for a TV movie. So I'm agonizing right now.
Which would you prefer?
I want to do them both. I'm longing to get back to the theater. That's the problem in this business,
Yes.
You can wait for a long time for something wonderful to come along, and then they collide.
Well, whichever it is.
So one or the
I'm
other
sure
I'll
it'll
be
be good.
doing.
And I'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank
hopefully
you.
soon.
Yes, good
Thank
to
you,
see
Blythe.
you. Thank you.
Isn't that true, though? It's
It's
like that
maddening.
in life, and particularly for actors.
It's so mad.
Yeah.
'Cause my husband, is doing this.
Okay, that should be enough. Now then, okay. You can just keep rolling then on the questions once I get started, all right. Blythe, I must say that I think most people will look at you as this Southern woman and they'll say, that is a really good portrayal of a Southern woman in the 60s. Blythe, could you, Blythe Danner, stay married to a guy like Bull Meacham? Okay. Blythe, you were in drama school? No, okay. You worked then with Dustin Hoffman and John Voight and Robert Duvall. What were they like way back then? Were they really good actors even then? Okay. All right. All right, now let me give you the sign-off then.
Okay, how you want to sing?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
This is Bobbie Wygant at Fripp Island Resort near Beaufort, South Carolina for Channel 5 Action News. Now, if we could do that one more time, and I'll turn and look into the camera. Okay. This is Bobbie Wygant at Fripp Island Resort near Beaufort, South Carolina for Channel 5 Action News. Okay.